Good day, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Here I bring you the news, events, and stories abounding in the state system. ATN's appetite for in-depth, unbiased, and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of the people. We'll go through the headlines. Court remands cyber cafe operators in Abia State. Navy rescues suspected victims of human trafficking. Presidency speaks on explosions. NASU SSANU criticized registration process. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll go straight into the details of the stories. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now we dive into the details for today. Chief Magistrate Court, sitting in Aba South Local Government Area of Abia State, has remanded 4 commercial computer center operators in the Niger Correctional Service Facility in Aba. The accused, Onoha Ikechukwu, Daniel Lawrence, as well as Odinaka Onyeforo and Ndukwe were arraigned before the court presided over by His Worship Erina Maduagu on a 3-count charge of conspiracy, impersonation, and forgery of power of attorney, an act reserved for qualified legal practitioners. According to the charge sheet, the suspects operated near the court and had been involved in illicit activities for years. The first defendant, Onoha Ikechukwu, was caught with over 70 forged powers of attorney, bearing the names of both living and dead lawyers. Prosecutor Uzamaka said their actions violated a lot of sections punishable under the section 467, subsection 1B of the Criminal Code Cap 80, Volume 3, Laws of Abia State of Nigeria 2005. The defendants, represented by their lawyers, pleaded not guilty to the charges, and the trial magistrate had adjourned the matter to Friday, October 25, for consideration of their bail application, and also ordered their remand in the Aba Nigeria Correctional Service Facility. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Ebonyi State Command, says it has seized 115 kilograms of various illicit substances and arrested 149 suspects in the 3rd quarter of the year. The State Commander of NDLEA, Mr. Peter Oga, who disclosed this in Abakaliki, said the arrests and seizures were made in different locations in the state between July and September 2024. He listed the seized substances to include crack, cocaine, and other drugs. The commander reiterated the officer's readiness to combat illicit drug trafficking not only in Ebonyi State, but Nigeria at large. Nigerian Police Force has said it would ensure that the upcoming governorship election in Ondo State is void of impartiality. The Inspector General of the Police, Kayode Egbetukun, assured at the Goodluck Ebele International Peacekeeping Hall, Force Headquarters in Abuja, in a meeting convened with AIGs and CPs from all formations, zonal and state commands. The meeting was aimed at reflecting on accomplishments, delineating future strategies, and reinforcing the commitment of the force to maintaining law and order across the nation. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Dejobi in Abuja said, during the meeting, significant emphasis was placed on the upcoming gubernatorial election in Ondo State. The election is scheduled for November 16, 2024, and Kayode Egbetukun, the MPF, has said it is committed to impartiality, professionalism, and the highest standards of conduct to safeguard democracy. He said rigorous training sessions will be conducted for police personnel to prepare them for their duties with a focus on conflict resolution and maintaining public order during the elections. Federal Road Safety Corps has lamented persistent road accidents in Oyo State. It blamed the accidents on failure of drivers to follow traffic laws, adding that there should be an attitudinal change and total compliance with rules guiding road usage. Speaking with newsmen in Ibadan, following an accident that claimed 6 and injured many at Oke Elesin Amuluku in Ona area of the local government, Oyo FRSC Sector Commander Court General Rosemary Alo condoled with families of the deceased, wishing injured ones speedy recovery. According to the Oyo FRSC boss, road crashes are caused by humans, urging drivers to embrace safety on highways, particularly during this Ember months. She said one of the focuses of the FRSC was to reduce road accidents on the roads across the nation, particularly in the states. She, however, said her men has mapped out the strategies for rescue operations to rescue accident victims in the state, particularly during the Ember months. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Governor of Lagos, has announced that the minimum wage for civil servants in the state is 85,000 naira. Sanwo-Olu spoke on Wednesday during an interview with some television networks. He said, "I'm glad to let you know that the minimum wage for Lagos, which we have discussed with our union, is 85,000 naira today," the governor said. "It is not a competition. I am not going to say that we are paying more than some people. It is a function of affordability and capacity. We know too well that when people live in Lagos, Lagos has a premium in terms of cost of living. We are fully aware. We also increased our salary earlier in the year. I want to come back in January and say that I have been able to increase the minimum wage of Lagos to 100,000 naira, not because I want to make anybody look bad, but because I want my people to have a living wage." In July, President Tinubu signed a minimum wage bill increasing workers' pay package from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira into law. Speaking on the identity of Lagos, Sanwo-Olu said he envisions a state where the public transport system is efficient and reliable and businesses thrive well. The dream identity will be a Lagos that truly works for everyone, a Lagos where you can have a predictable journey time. You can come out of office and simply say that in 10 minutes or 35 minutes, you can get to a predictable destination, the governor said. Nigerian Navy's Forward Operation Base in Badagry, Lagos, rescued and handed over 9 suspected victims of human trafficking to the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons. The rescues occurred in October 11th and 13th following incidents where young women were intercepted during routine stop-and-search operations at T-Junction and Tongeji Island, Badagry, on October 11, following 5 young women aged 19 to 32 were found traveling from Maltuid, Lagos, with plans to be transported to the Republic of Benin and Ghana. On October 13th, 4 others aged 19 to 24 were intercepted while en route to Guinea and Togo. The Navy handed over all 9 individuals to NAPTIP on October 15th for further investigations in line with established procedures. This highlights ongoing efforts to combat human trafficking and ensure regional maritime security. National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA) has seized at least 750 tons of illicit drugs over the past 3 years. According to Chairman and Chief Executive Mohammed Marwa, retired, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, which is the NDLEA, has seized at least 750 tons of illicit drugs in the past 3 years. Marwa made the announcement on Wednesday during the inauguration of the NDLEA Marine Command Headquarters in Lagos, a facility built and donated by the British government. He stated that the agency's partnership with the other maritime law enforcement agencies has led to a significant uptick in drug seizures and arrests, resulting in the capture of 41 suspects, 15 of whom have already been jailed and prosecuted. The chairman pointed out the increasing complexity of maritime drug trafficking, noting that traffickers are now using personal vessels such as luxury yachts, modified pump boats and fishing trawlers to smuggle narcotics. British Deputy High Commissioner Johnny Baxter, present at the event, stated the UK's support of the NDLEA efforts, while Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, represented by Secretary of the State Government Ms. Abimbola Saluhundein, praised the agency's role in protecting citizens and enhancing security. The NDLEA also referenced data from the United Nations, which shows that West Africa remains a major transit region for narcotics, with drug traffickers frequently exploiting maritime routes to traffic drugs. Nigerian Navy Badagry Lagos has handed over 9 suspected victims of human trafficking to the National Agency of Prohibition of Persons. Senate has expressed shock over the death of over 100 people who were burned to death while scooping fuel from a fallen truck near Dutse, the Jigawa state capital. The Senate equally called on the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and the National Emergency Management Agency to provide relief materials to surviving victims of the explosion. In a remark, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, warned Nigerians of the dangers of scooping fuel while such accidents occur.
Observe that this is one incident too many, and it is often accompanied with unprecedented casualties, often difficult for medical facilities within the precincts of the disaster. This development is rather unfortunate, as it keeps happening over and over again, in spite of fatalities that is often associated with the inferno. Also, observe that public enlightenment and sensitization on the dangers of indulging in the dangerous act of scooping fuel from tankers whenever there is a tanker accident should be encouraged as part of measures to forestall the occurrence of these unfortunate incidents.
This has happened in Lagos, it has happened in Ikeja, it has happened in my community in Akwa Ibom State before, and a lot of the burns were first-class burns. So here, over 100 people have been burned to death. Our prayer would just be that.
To the police spokesperson, the majority of the victims had gathered around the tanker to scoop fuel. The fuel had spilled and was flowing through the drainage of the outskirts of the village. Unfortunately, villagers attempted to scoop petrol from the drainage, resulting in a flame that engulfed the area and many people perished. The fire was successfully extinguished through the combined efforts of police officers, firefighters and Good Samaritans, Mr. Adam said. The police said Yusuf Mohammed, 32-year-old, the driver of the tanker with registration 6412F, lost control of as he drove into the town on the journey from Kano to Nguru in Yobe State. Mr. Adam said the Commissioner of Police in Jigawa, Ahmed Abdullahi, has sent his condolences to the people of Majia and the state over this tragedy. The CP therefore cautions well-meaning Nigerians and citizens of the state to stay safe from the area where gas tankers have fallen due to the potential hazard related to petroleum products, Mr. Adams said. Do not forget that we are open for our vast placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on our socials at Facebook and YouTube at Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and Twitter at Atlantic TV Network, and our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. On to the rest of the news. federal government, through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, has directed the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to launch a thorough investigation into the tanker explosion that claimed the lives of over 100 people in Jigawa State. The directive was issued by the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Senator Henneken Lugobiri, following the tragic incident in Majia town in Tauru local government area of the state. The minister expressed regret over the circumstances surrounding the unfortunate incident. President Bola Tinubu has taken decisive action following the tragic fuel tanker explosion in Majia town, Jigawa State, on October 15, 2024. The incident claimed over 40 lives and left dozens injured, when locals rushed to collect leaking fuel from the overturned tanker that subsequently exploded. Additionally, the Nigerian Senate called on the National Orientation Agency to increase public education efforts in the dangers of scooping fuel from accident scenes. Senator Babangida Hussaini highlighted the frequent occurrence of such incidents and emphasized the heavy casualties. The two responses from the President and the Senate underlined the need for heightened public safety awareness and a comprehensive review of fuel transportation safety protocols in Nigeria. The Ilorin Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have secured the conviction of 6 persons for offences bordering on internet fraud before Justices Suleiman Akambi and Adebayo Yusuf of the Kwara State High Court sitting in Ilorin. According to a statement by the head of media and publicity of the FCC, Dele Oyawale, made available to the press on Thursday, the convicts are Idris Mohammed, Ismaila Mustafa, Oyakole Odunayo, Anthony Stephen, and Timilehin Adenei. Also, Ola Yiwola Ayomide. Justice Akambi jailed Mohammed, Mustafa, Odunayo, and Stephen, while the duo of Adeni and Abdul Malik were convicted by Justice Yusuf on Monday. The charge against Idris reads that you, Idris Mohammed, on or about the 13th day of July 2024 to 13th of August 2024, in Ilorin within the jurisdiction of this court, did cheat by personation when you pretended to be one Dorothy Onanev Level Palmer and fraudulently received one Laverne Adrena Rachel to send $600 to you via Cash App and thereby committed an offense contrary to Section 321 of the Penal Code and punishable under Section 324 of the Penal Code. The sum of $300 and $34,900 recovered from him be forfeited to the federal government, the court ruled. Similarly, the court sentenced Anthony to 1 year imprisonment with an option of 50,000 naira only and ordered that the iPhone 12 and the sum of $25 from which he benefited from the unlawful activities be forfeited to the government. In a similar fashion, Justice Yusuf sentenced the duo of Timilehin and Olayiwola to 6 months imprisonment with an option of 200,000 naira each. The convicts' phones and the money they brought as restitution were forfeited to the federal government. Nasarawa United produced a scintillating performance defeating hapless Abia Warriors 3-0 in front of a raucous home crowd led by Governor Abdullahi Sule at the Lafia City Stadium during the 24-25 Nigerian Premier Football League. The match day 7 midweek encounter on Wednesday evening saw the Nasarawa State Governor, Engineer Abdullahi Sule, to make a morale-boosting presence at the stadium to cheer the solid miners to victory. According to a statement signed by the Director of Media, Nasarawa United FC, Eche Amos, the governor's presence at this game seemed to have a profound effect on the players as they turned around their slow starts to the game to dominating the match in the reverse half. Anas Yusuf opened the scoring in the 56th minute before adding 2 more goals in the 58th and 70th minutes, securing a well-deserved hat-trick and first home win for the Lafia-based team. The attacker has now netted 8 times for the Solid Miners this season. Earlier before the game, the governor had a closed-door meeting with the Commissioner for Youth and Sports Development, Honorable Jafaru Ango, management members of the state-owned club led by Solomon Babanja and the technical director Kabir Dogo at the government house Lafia, and charged the team to win games with as many goals as possible and to maintain the tempo in subsequent outings. Troops of Operation Hadarin Daji of the Nigerian Army have neutralized 5 bandits during a gunfight at Mararaban, Kiawari, located in Safi local government area of Zamfara State. Disclosing this, a counter-terrorism expert, Zagazola Makama, said the incident occurred during military operation. Makama said several other bandits were also injured. This is coming less than 48 hours after the notorious leader, Kachala Ibrahim Gorgon Daji, was neutralized by the military operatives in the Mada area of Gusau. ATN gathered that Kachala Ibrahim Gorgon Daji was eliminated by Kwana Nasiru community, a village located in the east of Mada town in Gusau local government area of the state. In Sokoto, Ahmed Aliu has launched the sale of subsidized food items, including a 50-kilogram bag of rice priced at 38,700 naira. This aims to ease the burden on the people, particularly those at the grassroots level. The governor stressed that the sale should be open to all, without any conditions such as political affiliation or social status. He explained, a 50 kg bag of rice will be sold for 38,700, while a 25 kg will be sold for 19,300. And the 10 kg bag will be available for 7,000 naira. Aliyu further noted that the government is not seeking to collect the proceeds from the sales. Instead, a special account will be opened to deposit the funds which will be used to purchase more foodstuffs and continue the project. The governor commended the leader of the state ruling party and former governor Aliyu Wamako for his guidance and support, which he said has been crucial to the success of his administration. Borno State Police has escaped from a correctional facility following the severe flooding that hit Maiduguri and its environs in September. The police public relations officer of the company serving a jail term for criminal conspiracy and theft at the medium security custodial center in Maiduguri when the facility's fence collapsed due to flooding, allowing Aminu to flee. Dasu further revealed that the convict was apprehended on October 16, 2024 by police officers from Bama Area Command in Banki Local Division Headquarters, following a tip-off that Aminu was spotted in Banki Town. ATN had earlier reported that over 281 inmates escaped from the Maiduguri Medium Custodial Center during the severe flooding that submerged parts of the city. Aminu's arrest brings the number of escaped convicts apprehended so far to 3, following the earlier arrest of Abubakar Mohammed and Kiari Kor, who also fled during the September 10 flooding. FCT Minister Yesomeze Onwike has called for strategic partnerships and investments in Abuja, noting that the city provides opportunities to investment in agriculture, health, tourism, construction, mining, and renewable energy. This comes as a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and governor of Anambra State, Charles Soludo, called for investment in made-in-Nigeria products to promote investment across all sectors of the economy. Wike and Soludo made the call at the Made in Abuja Business and Investment Summit themed Optimizing Investments Through Partnership, held at the Yar Adua Center in Abuja on Wednesday. Wike disclosed that his administration will flag off 9 major projects in the coming week as part of efforts to further enhance investment opportunities in the FCT. He emphasized the potential of the FCT, stating that his administration had undertaken measures to create an enabling environment for investment by prioritizing infrastructure development and the provision of utilities. In her welcome address, the managing director of the Group of Abuja Investment Company Limited, Maureen Tamuno, said the summit aimed to promote investment opportunities in the FCT and create a platform for networking between investors within the country and outside the country. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Yesomeze Onwike, has called on Nigerians to pay their taxes, saying the government at all levels needs money to provide social services to Nigerians. Wike made this call on Wednesday in Abuja at the first edition of the Abuja Business and Investment Summit, organized by the Abuja Investment Company. He said the theme of the event, Optimizing Investment Through Partnerships, resonates with the federal government's drive to deploy the power of collaboration to foster investment opportunities. According to him, The notion that the government does not need money was incorrect, noting that the government needs money to provide services, while citing examples of the government's partnership with the private sector that went sour. Wike said the government won't continue to commit billions of naira and land to investors who can't guarantee a return of investment. Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps has warned that private security companies operating without registration in the Federal Capital Territory risk prosecution. The commandant of the NSCDC, Federal Capital Territory Command, Dr. Olushola Odumoshon, stated this on a 6-day refresher training course for supervisors and operatives of the private guards in Abuja. The commandant was represented by the Deputy Commandant of the Command, DCC Jackson Egbinosa, lamented that the high proliferation of private security without following due process. He said the Nigerian Civil Defense is the only agency statutorily empowered to register private guards and would ensure that private guard companies are properly profiled, as security matters cannot be taken for granted for any reasons. Odumoshon tasked participants in the training to take advantage of the knowledge acquired from training to be good ambassadors of their organizations and to collectively work for a crime-free society. Do not forget you're watching Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. We'll take a short break and we'll be back. Stay with us.
The people of Maiduguri need your help. A catastrophic flood has engulfed the city, leaving over 1 million residents stranded and fighting for survival. Entire communities are submerged, with people trapped inside homes and on rooftops cut off from food, clean drinking water and essential supplies. Health experts are warning of a potential outbreak of deadly diseases, and medical facilities are out of commission. The situation is dire. Helicopters, boats and high-riding trucks capable of navigating the treacherous, waterlogged areas are urgently required to reach the countless men, women and children still awaiting rescue. The Nigerian media is issuing a desperate plea to the government, humanitarian organizations, international actors and citizens across the nation. Step in now, before it's too late. For more information on how you can help, contact Professor Usman A. Tar, the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Internal Security, Borno State, on 0809-233-3955. Every second counts.
This is powered by Atlantic Television Network.
Welcome back to Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Vice President Kashim Shettima has departed Abuja for Sweden on a 2-day visit to represent Nigeria in bilateral engagements with the Scandinavian nation. The visit is at the instance of President Bola Tinubu, Senior Special Assistant to the Vice President on Media and Communication, Mr. Stanley Nwokocha, who revealed in a statement he signed on Wednesday titled VP Shettima embarks on a 2-day visit to Sweden. During the walk-in visit, the VP will engage in higher bilateral engagements with key government officials, including a meeting with Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden and Swedish Prime Minister. Nwokocha said the Vice President will also meet with Noxon, a Stockholm-based venture capital impact investor, which recently launched Noxon 22, a $200 million tech investment fund for Africa. Noxon 22 is a technology growth fund backed by over 30 prominent unicorn founders. It is partnering with other entrepreneurs to build Africa's next tech giants. While in Sweden, Shettima is also expected to articulate Nigeria's economic vision and the reforms being undertaken by the administration to create a business-friendly environment in Nigeria for investors, to showcase the opportunities that abound in Africa, the largest economy. Vice President is expected to be back on Saturday to the country. Analysts has urged President Bola Tinubu to fire ministers that are not meeting expectations. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program, Society Watch, a socio-political analyst, James Martin, opined that President Tinubu should quickly change any minister whose performance level is below expectation.
Underperforming people. I won't wait to do an elaborate or generalized reshuffle like it's a ceremony. No, if you're underperforming, I will excuse you from the office and replace you with somebody who is performing well. We don't need to come and have an official reshuffling. It's a bad pick to the initial process of selection of minister, and they've already started criticizing the selection in the first place.
Honorable Martins, however, suggested that the president should make use of performance indicator while reshuffling his cabinet.
Otherwise, who are the underperforming ministers? We just talked about a minister who is complaining that funds did not come to the ministry. What if she is replaced as Minister for Women Affairs? What if the shuffling removes that Minister for Women Affairs now and replaces? Is funds going to enter? And if the funds eventually enters, could this one not have done mighty things if the funds were available in the first place? That's the thing of priority. Who are the underperforming ministers? What are the performance indicators with which we're going to do this reshuffling? Because it's our office, it's a Nigerian office. These people are holding these resources in trust for us. So what are the performance indicators? Ministry for Sports, for example, what achievements have we had in the sport field? How are we recruiting the next generation? I stay close to Real Madrid Football Academy here. and sometimes I go around. I don't see any academic thing going on there. I don't see scouting and recruitment from the grassroots level.
This comes as the civil society organization on Tuesday challenged President Bola Tinubu to tackle hardship in the country, saying Nigerians are not keen about the cabinet reshuffle for which the government has expressed so much excitement. Nigerian government, via the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Regulatory Petroleum Authority, has unveiled new regulations to simplify petrol imports licensing and other operational rules in the industry and distilled them into one single document. The NMDPRA stated that former guidelines regarding midstream and downstream operations operated by the defunct Department of Petroleum Resources have become obsolete and revoked. The proposed 2024 operations will allow the regulator to reduce the complexities of navigating and implementing numerous regulations in the petroleum sector. The NMDPRA Chief Executive Farouk Ahmed said at a stakeholder engagement on the proposed operation rules on Tuesday, October 15, 2024, in Abuja, that the move aligns with Section 216 of the Petroleum Industry Act, which mandates consultation with stakeholders before the finalization of the regulations. The NMDRA boss said the proposed regulations would consolidate 12 of the agency's earlier gazetted regulations. According to him, the regulations will be read alongside other rules by the agency, including midstream and downstream petroleum fees regulation, which allows to prescribe fees for these activities. Energy experts believe that the midstream and downstream petroleum fees regulation will soon be published in the federal government gazette. Newspapers report that the agency's legal advisor, Joseph Tolorunse, said the regulation's objective was to consolidate all 16 drafted regulations and streamline them for ease of reference. In a different story, the Non-Academic Staff Union of Education and Associated Institutions, NASU, and the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has voiced dissatisfaction over the inauguration of renegotiation committee by the federal government to address the contentious 2009 agreement with university unions. In a statement by the Joint Action Committee of NASU and SANU, the unions expressed concerns about being sidelined, alleging that the process was biased towards the Academic Staff Union of Universities, which is ASU. They claimed that the minister's speech mainly focused on ASU, with minimal reference to non-teaching staff unions, suggesting an unfair renegotiation process. Analyst says the problem of Nigeria is lack of good leadership. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Atlantic Blowout, public affairs analyst Emmanuel George says Nigerians are patriotic, but the country cannot boast of good governance.
Go across the world. We are not lacking brains. We have a lot of brains. We are lacking leadership. You can tell the people to be patriotic. Of course, we should be patriotic. You can say we should be singing Nigeria, we hail thee. But if a man is saying we hail thee, when he's hungry, when he has lost hope, when he's frustrated, when he has no job, when he's not sure of where his next meal will come from, when he's not sure whether his daughter will go to school and she'll come back alive if she will not be kidnapped, when he's not sure whether his wife will make it out of the delivery room because maybe the doctor is not available. Look at our mortality rate. We are not lacking men that are patriotic. Look at our soldiers. I have a friend who is a soldier. He served at the front lines. He fought at the front lines. He gave everything for this country. And most of his colleagues, they did not survive. They lost their lives. Many young Nigerians have sacrificed their lives, their blood, sweat, and tears for this nation, Nigeria. So we are not lacking men that are patriotic. What we are lacking is leaders.
The analyst further charged those occupying public offices to lead well, adding that good leadership attracts patriotism.
Whatever position you are, if you want love in a society, be that man that shows love. So you can preach patriotism from now till next year. They are not going to listen to you. Many people are not going to listen to you. Many people have lost hope and faith in this country. Many people don't even see themselves as Nigerians again. They've lost every attachment of Nigeria. The Nigerianness in them has dried up. So how do we restore the Nigerianness? How do we revive the patriotism? How do we revive the love for country, for our motherland? How do we revive this country with enormous potentials, yet crawling? After more than 60 years of independence, we are still not free because we are still trapped in mental slavery. So the political office holder is speaking because he's speaking for his office, but he's not speaking for Nigerians. He should walk on the streets. He should interact with Nigerians. He should ask them, why are you not patriotic? Why are you not loving your country? He should go to the filling station and see how people are struggling to buy fuel. And yet we are described as one of the largest producers of crude oil in the world. And then tell them, why are you not patriotic? He should go to our hospitals and see a lot of people that are dying, because most of them don't have the right medication or drugs. They can't buy the drugs because it's expensive. And ask them, why are you not patriotic? If we want to talk about patriotic country, we need to do things rightly. We need to...
This comes as the federal government called on Nigerians to stop making negative comments against the country. And this will wrap it up on this edition of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network in the great city of Port Harcourt. I'm King David Obasi so far, thanking you for staying with us. Stay connected with us on our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, on X, formerly known as Twitter, Atlantic TV/net, on our website, atlanticnetwork.tv. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for staying with us.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.